through culture and media is how people grow. While they're fighting politically, wasting the nation's time and money, they're paying people for advisory, but like my own, it is for free. So change for the struggling pan man. Change for that old Caisonian. Change for the elderly, so grandma and grandpa could die happy. I said change for all opposition, so next time they'll approve legislation. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that affordable to the rich man or the man that too broke. T&T, we need a new hope. If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call T&T, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. To some change might just mean a new car, could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change, things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. It's murders, killings galore, so much gunmen fighting needless war. I can't tell you stay, can't tell you go, cause this still the land we used to know. Homeless, every corner you meet, and they complimented by our dirty streets. Then we wonder why in our sister isle, why they don't like Trinis to come and spend time. Well, you see, it's much more than paving a whole road, and it's greater than fixing a lamp pole. Change is about the whole nation and how we are portrayed when the party done. Who set these standards in my T&T? Really wish somebody here could tell me. It's just the same thing again and again, like we leaders don't use the brain. So change the change within our country. Change the change so the whole world could see. Change the change for a better future, so we don't have to depend on our next mayor. Say change the change within the society, otherwise we have a bandit factory. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In our youth, we leave all the weight, cause in most leaders, we done a lost faith. They're full of such greed. Oh Father, I plead, please Lord have some mercy on the seas. Cause the youth are trying their best, but they're born in this place of lies and commerce. So eventually, when things get heavy, chances are they might turn out just like we. But you see, could put an end to all this foolishness and could break this chain link of sadness. Change could help our leaders to grow and start preparing youths for tomorrow. Don't see change as something timely and start seeing change as your duty. To stop them from hurting one day is we had to point the way. So change the change for better transparency. Change the change for better economy. Change the change so no man one day will take we money and just fly away. I say change the change for young Calypsonians and stop saying culture is in good hands. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. For those who don't know how to arrange or what I might mean by change the change, it means restructure what is regular so that we can have a different culture. From Kaiso, they get solutions, but still they treat us like the stupid ones. They neglecting we repeatedly, constantly insulting our country. But if we change, we'll understand to value each other, and change would mean there's a better future. I hope one day our leaders know through culture and media is how people grow. While they're fighting politically, wasting the nation's time and money, they're paying people for advisory, but like my own it is for free. So change the change for the struggling pan man. Change the change for that old Kaisonian. Change the change for the elderly, so grandma and grandpa could die happy. I said change the change for all opposition, so next time they'll approve legislation. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Come around with more than 1 or 2 votes. We need the kind of change that's affordable to the rich man or the man that's too broke. T&T, we need a new hope.
My youths, where the violence all about, with the numbers them really bringing. Blood on my plate is only grace, and the politicians lying. Don't believe all their bloody plan and make this sweet island a bloody land. Don't believe a lot of the distractions when crime is money in hand.
Dreams of riches and gold. Tell me why the dog don't want to grow. Everybody wanna be tough. None of them don't know when the cell block cold. At night is when the demand them rise. Pray to God before you go close your eyes. It's always nice to wake up for the next sunrise. Fed up of the dreams being mixed with lies.
My youths, where the violence all about, with the numbers them really bringing. Blood on my plate is only grace, and the politicians lying. Don't believe all their bloody plan and make this sweet island a bloody land. Don't believe a lot of the distractions when crime is money in hand.
Corruption in high and low places. In the ghetto, not a lot of smiling faces. And because of where you're born, you can go to many different places. Life in the ghetto tougher than what it does here. You can't believe everything the mainstream choose to share. A lot of wicked schemes going out here, boy. Look how mother's eyes full up at here.
Live through hell on earth to go to heaven. Make heaven on earth to go to hell. Reach so far but so much soul has fell. Journeys end with stories left to tell. King when I reach it up, tell him where I start from. The road on the hill done bumpy and long dog. Protect your life, got the demon them out dog. Out dog.
My youths where the violence all about, with the numbers them really bringing. Blood on my plate, it's only grace, and the politicians lying. Don't believe all their bloody plan, and make this sweet island a bloody land. Don't believe a lot of the distractions when crime is money in hand.
It's a beautiful, beautiful day. The Street 919 FM, 24 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock here. Yours truly, the voice. I'm on the inside with you all this afternoon. I want to say good afternoon going out to all of y'all, those of y'all that have been locked on and listening to us from the hour of 5 a.m. this morning, and continue to keep it locked no matter the time of the day. And are always, in fact, 24/7 around the clock, always locked on and always connected with the street. I want to say good afternoon going out to all of you all, and welcome on the Insider. So I got the opportunity to meet a lot of people today, put a lot of faces to names. There's one young lady in particular, she told me, in fact she watched me, she said, "Your daily voice, your deal." Now these days I'm very particular, but it all depends on who's asking, eh? But you know, when I answered, she said, "I was one of the persons who just give you any trouble on the chat." So today I'm going to be monitoring the chat to see now if I can put a name to the face, because I know there are many troublemakers on the inside as well. But I love all of you. Nonetheless, all of y'all, I love all you bad. Bad, bad, bad. So, I want to read in on a couple articles today, and then push forward from there. And see based on how much time would permit and time would allow us today. And one of the things I want to tell you all, there's a lot of things that are happening in society. And the most part of it, in terms of what is saddening today, is a lot of people are paying the consequences for things that they shouldn't pay the consequence for. I looked at articles and things in the news where seen a cigarette man being killed, murdered, because men decided that they are going to rob the cigarette man. And then robbing the cigarette man to take the cigarettes, because we have to understand something, and I want you all to follow me very keenly. Cigarettes is a big, 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 when I say big, big, capital B. If the capital get a capital more than the capital that it is already in the B, we capitalizing that about 5,000 times B. Capital big. Currency. In the prison system today. So we have to understand that when a man go to put on a robbery, cigarettes is an asset, it's gold. The amount of money that they sell cigarettes for in the prison. Don't ask me to go into any further detail. And it's not that I'm not prepared. But if I have to go into that into detail, There's so many things that will come out of that it's not for today's show. We will talk about it sometime, but not today. A man who has a family to go to, a man who's working to provide for his family, can no longer do so because why? Greed. People want to attain things that they've never worked hard for, and to make large, voluptuous sums of profit and money from it. So they kill a man, shoot him to death. Security guard is injured and warded at the hospital. And what will come out of it after? Then there's another instance. I see it as provocation. I'm not the person to defend the law, you know. But I tend to try to look at things from all angles and all aspects of it. And there was a video that surfaced, or videos that surfaced, with a police officer drawing his fire. And everybody started to say, "Why the police wrong? The police should have never, and he should have never, and he should have never, and he should have never." But then when we slightly observed the clippings that were released, because they were trying to paint a picture and incriminate him as, "Oh, he pulled the firearm for we," and then, "Oh, he shot behind us." But when you look, you see two different times of day. One is clear in the night, and the other one is in a different time of day because it's bright. Different clothes. Everybody have on different clothes, everything. Cars are parked differently, everything. And nobody sit down and say, "But look, the residents are throwing bottles at this man. Look, a man is up in his face and say, 'Well, shoot me now. Shoot me now.'" Even to the point of as far as to say, "Don't worry, I guess where you make that mistake, and I go put you in your grave. I go send you home." And every day, and imagine now, besides the camera, how long they've been provoking this police officer. After pelting bottles, and you know what the thing is? And this is why I keep telling people, let us look at things with the ears and the eyes to see, and the ears to hear, the eye to see. We need to focus on that. Stop just hating because I realize that in society now, we don't want to hear the police because we don't like them, because the police may have rubbed us the wrong way at some point in time. Some point in time, the police rub us the wrong way. We don't like to hear this individual because it is rah, 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 at 1,000 miles a minute, and we don't like how them this song. They're not in the favorite party, we don't want to hear them. And vice versa, we do that with everybody and everything. And then we miss the message. There's always a message. And sometimes the most important messages are the ones that we ignore from the people that we don't like. Some people say, "Dale, what do you mean the message? What message them fellas and them could give me by? Dale, stupidness you're talking about message." There is always a message. There is a message sometimes to bring awareness. Sometimes there's a message to allow us to solidify based on a decision that we are making, going to make, or have made. Sometimes it is to say, "Okay, let us sit back a little bit and let me observe and see, oh, this is what's in your mind. So that's what you're really about. Okay, no problem." And they will just rock back. Always a message. But there are young persons, and then we have this issue, Christmas list. But there's a guy worse than Christmas list who came to Trinidad. The only thing that he did was that he started to release his videos when he left the country. And he pointed out, and the thing about it is he was disrespectful to the highest, asking little children who were in their house if they in jail. And we ain't kicking up our fuss for that. Nobody ain't going to get a charge of sedition to hold him here to answer for the things that he's done. But then when we look past all of those things with these people who are coming here to make or to gain views and likes, because they're willing to do things that we, our own people, are not willing to do, which is to show the reality of things. But our youths have gotten smart because they're charging them now to come into the community to record them. You have to pay a fee. You feel you could come here and get that for just so? We want money. These days we have executive pipers. We have social pipers. We have political pipers. We have real pipers out there, you know. Everybody piping for something. But then again, when we look at all of this, these guys go their way, they fly out, go back to their country, they collect their views, people get their laughs, they collect the clout, and the youths are still where they are at now. We will always preach the talk, put down the guns, stop the violence, let we live in love. But is love attractive? Is love attractive? What will make these youths on them turn around and say, okay, let's not do crime anymore. Let's not terrorize the country. Let's not this. You know that they are doing what they are doing because they're trying to survive as well. They want to live and not die. And how many of us are encouraging them? Well, you come now, man. Come. You too nice for that. Come now. You too this, you too that, you too the other. And then we will come here and persons will come and sit at the helms of these seats and be comfortable to talk things that, how to put it? Things that are making no sense to the edification and the upliftment of society. People will go on platforms and talk things, and at the end of the day, it's a bunch of empty nothings. Or we will have persons who jump out and say, we don't care about country. Or we will have persons that will just feed their vices, because their vice more important than a better world, a better country. As I was telling someone this morning, I don't care about what for me, you know. I have children. Oops. I have a child. Talking into the future, you never know, I might get a little 2, 3 more. I'd welcome that with open arms. But we have our next generation to prepare, and all they don't miss, you know, somebody going and try to pong me with that. But we have our next generation to see about and to prepare for. We the people, so all of us who are listening here right now to the sound of my voice, we have a responsibility for the grandchildren, those who now come out and do SCA. We need to put and plaster and paste a platform for them, because they are our next prime ministers. They are our next presidents. They are our next legislators. They are our next cabinet. They are our next opposition. They are the people that are going to be taking care of the legacy that we are supposed to be leaving. Tell me if I'm making sense, you know. If I'm talking shippiness, tell me. It's okay, my back broad. I could take that. And we have to make contributions to society and make contributions that would help. And we have to stand up and start doing. Stand up and start doing. Stand up and start doing. I want to read that article. And there are so many things that are happening that all constitute and all bring into alignment the things that need be, the things that are going to make the difference. And I find that for too long, a lot of us have just focused on all talk and propaganda and stupidness and all the different things. That's all we've been focusing on, instead of how we can do this to make it better. How can I make it better for the next generation to come? Three 342-008-1466-5391. Those are the numbers that we could talk on today. In fact, every day. I don't know why I said what we could talk on today. I've seen videos with a young lady. She did she did drugs in school. Don't know what to do with herself. She started to go mad. Children have no care for authority. We created those monsters. Society created those monsters. A lot of us will say, blame the mother and the father. Yes, to a point. But we created it. Because we had turned on that switch, the mind your business mentality now. Mind my business. That's not my business. So never flick on the mind my business switch. And then where from there? Then what we do from here? Where we go from here? Tell me. I don't know why these things just happen. I'm seeing that again, I call, but I'm not getting to it. Not, all right, I think it registered now. Is it? No, but I hear the phone going voop voop, all kind of thing too. All right, so let's try it again. 342-008-1466-5391. Those are the numbers to call. All right, looks like it's now starting to. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I just want to make an apology to Pastor Google concerning an incident just a while ago where I mixed up the Holland tunnel with the Euro tunnel. That's all. So I apologize for that.
Right.
Because there are people who trying to make me feel in America and they are so better off than us because we don't have a tunnel in Trinidad and Tobago that we can. You understand, boy? That try to belittle us now.
Right.
So, right? So I just want to apologize for that.
All right, no problem.
Right.
Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Hey, good afternoon,
Dale.
Good afternoon.
Dale, a lot of what you're saying wouldn't make sense in the minds of some people because they already made up their minds that they are going to lean on the type of understanding that they want to lean on to, right? Because it have some persons refuse to be objective, right? Refuse to take the information for what it is and deal with the information, right? It is
I started losing.
Why?
Chris, I'm losing you. Hello.
Those debates, they come and start personal attacks, insults. You understand? And I know we keep doing it every day. The
connection real bad, Chris. Try and give us a call back. For the others, 342-008-14665391. Right? I watched a video. And we have so many facts in front of us, so many things in front of us, and it's I don't know. I really hope that they make this SSA report how to put it, public. I want to play a video and then we will go from the video, read some articles and work our way coming around. And I'm being very cautious in how I deal with this topic this beautiful afternoon. I'm making sure that I'm being very cautious, and I know why. So let me see if I can find the mouse, right? And I want to put this up. So for those of you all coming, these are some of the things that we have to do here to keep the people informed and knowledgeable. Take a listen and a watch too.
Such persons belong to a cult which was arming itself while preaching a doctrine for trained military and paramilitary personnel with a religious calling to be the most suitable persons to replace the country's political leadership.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley revealing shocking details of the investigation into the SSA. The investigation revealing several relatives of SSA employees who were also part of the same church were improperly employed by the agency with no due diligence or polygraph testing. 28 people have since been fired from the SSA. The Prime Minister saying those cult members possess influence so high that it was detrimental to the country's national security. Even more shocking was the revelation of a cache of guns and ammunition acquired before it was legal to do so. One example was the establishment and operation of a highly trained and militarized tactical response unit. Dr. Rowley said the SSA purchased 8,000 rounds of .9mm ammunition in 2017, but in 2022 that increased to 100,000 rounds. In 2016 it held 24 pistols and revolvers, but by 2021 it increased its cache to 103, including military-grade firearms.
Why would an intelligence gathering agency with a mandate to collect and share information with operational units in other law enforcement and defense agencies find it necessary to secretly have an operational unit of that nature and magnitude?
The audit also revealed the whereabouts of 70,000 rounds of ammunition purchased by the SSA remain unaccounted for.
But Madam Speaker, that's not all. Shockingly, the audit discovered that the former director of the SSA initiated the procurement of high-grade military bolt-action rifles, complete with the most modern silencers and other accessories.
Dr. Rowley said before November 2023, the National Security Council was unaware that the SSA possessed those levels of arms and ammunition and engaged in extensive weapons training. Dr. Rowley noted that police are now investigating. Kevin Feldman, CNC3 News.
So the SSA been in price and comprised of high-powered weapons training. What is the role and function of the SSA? Or what was supposed to be the strategic function of this body? Let me just refresh you all a little bit, because sometimes we need to bring back things so that we can understand a little bit more. And why. So we can go from there. Yeah? Come with me again. Come with me again. Let's have a look-see, as the people say. Let's have a look-see.
Would have resulted in the breaking of a major case in the country, or the arrest of a major person in the country?
Yes, sir. The case concerning Dana Sitahal.
Yeah.
All right? I was the officer. I was the person who was required to go into a certain neighborhood, identify 2 vehicles that were on cameras, and all them other police who were chickens, who refused to do it. I went on foot and did it, sir.
You would have
That was my
this
first
guy?
big breakthrough. Must be this guy, sir. It wouldn't be the face, sir.
Yeah. For all of our listeners listening, I think some may be a little confused. Now, I know the media has covered your story and said, and it indicates that you were trained as a spy by a German national. At least that's one of the newspapers reported it. But I think there may be some conflict in some listeners' minds as to, one, you're a pastor. Where did you get your security training? And how did you merge into the national security infrastructure from being a pastor to becoming an intelligence officer? More so because as a spy, you're required to be deceptive. You have to lie, I assume. Correct. Things like that. How does that fit with your pastor?
No, I like the way Morgan Job does things. Morgan Job doesn't curse publicly, at least, but he uses words. He is so skilled with words that the way he would say it, you really mightn't even know what he said. But Jesus is the same thing. He will use words in such a fashion that the point is that he'll say to the people plainly, he says, it's you who said so. So I learned from Jesus. All right? And he is one of my Israeli counterparts.
You're saying that Dr. Job also learned from Jesus?
I'll never say that, sir.
Pastor Brown, you mentioned the police situation. How much of this information that you're divulging to the media at this time, and it's quite a bit of information based on what we're seeing in the newspapers, should be considered classified and not divulged, including your interaction with the SSA?
Okay, now like I said, they blew my cover. It's all out there. They took pictures of me. They took pictures of everything they found in my home that they found was very, very interesting to them. My house is over 3,000 square feet. It's huge, okay? you'll hear him saying he has 9 daughters. But the point is this, the Bible says, like Paul will say, you could have many teachers, but you can't have many fathers, because Paul says, I have begotten you through the gospel. And that's the context. There are guys in the church who relate to me and call me dad, and there's guys and there are girls who call me dad. That's it. Sometimes they spend time with my wife. My wife loves to have them around, and that's the context. I have 2 biological children, 2 boys.
Are you the only person from your church or your churches that had been employed by the SSA?
No, sir. I will not lie until I'm not a liar. No. But it's not the figures that they're calling. Some people visit us. And because of some people visiting us, they are now flagged and they are going to be fired too. You can't visit a church and get fired for visiting a church. You can't visit a mosque and be fired for visiting a mosque. You can't visit a Hindu temple and be fired for visiting a Hindu temple. Something is wrong.
Was Major Best a member of your congregation?
Yes, but Major Best didn't even know who I was. In the context of what I was doing prior to him visiting the church, under the person who invited him, all right, was a senior person, high top-ranking person in the defense force. And when he came and he realized this is about righteousness, he just stayed on for a while. And then after he realized that he would like to be a part of the church and that kind of stuff. So I have nothing to do with him training me.
He had no knowledge of you being a part of the SSA or the police service, to your knowledge?
Okay. The point is, Major Best did not know my involvement with Peter Joseph, Brigadier Peter Joseph, and whatever I was talking to Brigadier Francis about. Brigadier Francis was a major at the time in Special Forces. And I was doing the upgrades of the Special Forces facility as a contractor. I used to do contracts for national security. And it's through that activity, I got to know a lot of people that I could have safely given intel to. And they would verify it. And the point is this, I don't trust police. They came, even man over 100 of them come over my house, and I can't see what some of them doing at all. I don't know if they planted bugs, if they planted weed, if they planted cocaine, because all of my family was made to stand outside in the hot sun while they were doing their mischief. Wherever I was with the officer who had a warrant, there were other police officers going around my house, through my house, every area, into my office, where I have my confidential things. I was not allowed to go there when they were searching. I don't know what it took, except I'm sure the bag with all my police uniform. Why take that and that is not any warrant? This is what the nation must ask.
Do you think there's a connection between the recent developments regarding Major Best being sent on administrative leave and the raid on your compound?
It's directly related, sir, because he was not raided. Why raid me with about 100 police and nobody comes by him? What is there about a pastor that he's so important to you guys, to all you guys, I had to say, that you need to send so many police, right, to make a big bacchanal, to expose him? Why expose me? So I can't do my job anymore? That's the point. So if the listeners are listening, if I am exposed, as far as they concerned, I can't continue my work.
Yeah. Pastor Brown, as someone versed in intelligence, do you have cameras at your home? And I would imagine you would have had hidden cameras and even microphones.
Yes, 16 of them. And so yes, some with microphones.
So you have footage and audio of this raid?
Sir, if I say yes, you might kill me after I finish talking with you all.
Well, that wouldn't remove the footage and the audio, because I'm sure that you would not have had it stored on any normal DVR also.
You better believe I'm trained as well. And the neighbors, I got their footage as well.
Okay.
So, Pastor, earlier in the conversation, you said this is the darkest time for the country, or something along that line.
That's
could
correct.
you clarify what you mean by that?
It's because the people who are righteous, that certain segment or part of SSA are being pulled out as we speak. As we speak. pulled out to guarantee that the rats will function with their legacy of covering who they want to cover, limit whatever comes to whoever's the commissioner of police, and SSA will be the most corrupt organization in the country.
So you see this as an attack?
About that.
Yeah. You see this as an attack on the Christian faith-based people in the police service?
No, sir. I see it as an attack against all those who are righteous. They are righteous people who are not Christians, non-Christians, who are targeted as well.
I hope that you all are listening very tentatively. And this is something that I initially started, and we will continue it. But I'm going to go and pay some bills, and I'll be back.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
As we transition into summer, we continue to talk politics, current events, entertainment, and what's trending while balancing the talk with some of your favorite tunes, both old and new. Our purpose is to keep you informed and edify you, as well as to give you food for thought on the current affairs of this nation and the world. Keep it locked to the Street 919 FM every day, all day. Our on-air numbers are 342-0081 and 466-5391. Visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The Street 919 FM. YouTube, IWER TV.
The Street 919 FM.
Shed it out. You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Renting a car in Tobago should be quick, affordable, and easy. Wow. Here at Oni Rentals, we make the process as simple as possible by using our easy e-sign-up. Yep, we can sign you up from just about anywhere using our tablets. See? All done, and everything goes straight into the cloud. Wow. Yeah, you're on your way. Are you coming to Tobago? Book your car rental with us and enjoy the most affordable rates in Tobago. But hurry, because cars go pretty fast. Call 361-1042. That's 361-1042. One more time, 361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals, Tobago, taking you further.
TNT, bring your family, friends, neighbors, coolers, and let's laugh together again like we used to.
Do you remember? The biggest and funniest stars from different eras. The best of the best. Comedy Fest. The first of 6 shows kicking off Saturday, July 6th at the Arima Velodrome, 7:30 p.m.
Masefi, it's true what I hear? That one of your husband that tried to kill you?
Yes, child, that is true, that is true. Yes, that nasty, stinking, dirty wretch, yeah? He used to put poison in my food, yes.
Wait, and how you are dead?
No, well, I was smarter than he. I used to eat all my food in the living room.
Get tickets today at islandytickets.com. Michelle's Arima, Extra Food Supermarket Arima, Sangre Grande, Aranguez, Grand Bazaar, and Endeavour. Cachets, Trin City Mall, and Port of Spain. Jumbo Foods, Barataria. Barrage, Westside Supermarket, Arima. Sammy Seafood Plus, Arima. For more info, call 774-5555. The best of the best Comedy Fest. Arima Velodrome, July 6th.
The Street 919 FM mobile app is now live. Keep in the loop with all your favorite programs. Be in the know first and carry us wherever you go. Listen and watch us live at the click of your fingertips. Download our mobile app now. Go in your favorite app store, whether it be Android or Apple, and type in The Street 919 FM.
Hey, you drink Magnum, hold the vibes and crack one. Take charge with Magnum, build the vibes with Magnum. They say all rum is that we don't deal with. Magnum is energy when you need it. Take charge anytime, anyway. With Fingerton 2, it's power for days. When you crack one, take charge. And when you drink one, take charge. You need a next one, take charge. Magnum tonic wine. Why is that bad? responsibly.
This is Natural Health Solution, where we offer a range of holistic services. For HemoView, which is a deep dive into blood detection, both live and dry assessment. For BioResonance full body assessment, or full body lymphatic detoxification, or physical therapies include back, neck, and shoulder massage, sciatic nerve compression, and more. Our new beauty line includes both facial, mole and tag removal, and much more. Join us every Tuesday at 8:05 to 8:35 right here on the street 91.9. Call our numbers is 222-2189. That number again is 222-2189.
Conscious Talk, where we are at and where we are going. After a storm, there is a calm. Where there is darkness, light follows. Where there is evil, good overcometh. It's Conscious Talk with Steve Antoine. Every Thursday from 10:25 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. It's Conscious Talk. Conscious Talk. Talk.
Are invited to join Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour all-night prayer every Friday evening, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Designed with you in mind, this ministry deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated and can be sent through the First Citizens Bank, account 795222, in the name of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. For more information, please call 753-1113. May God richly bless you.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, so we are back at the inside, and we are back on the inside. I want you all to jump back in on the live for me, because coming for landing. And I want to bring the information to the forefront. Right? I want to bring some stuff to the forefront. So I want to... Right. Sorry, yeah, I was trying to listen to something and speak to you all at the same time. So let's go back in. I want to play just a few more into this clipping. And then we're going to go and come in for our landing. Right now we're on the plane, and the plane hot. Hot, not like Coachella right now. So let's go.
It isn't just our people who may have visited church. There are people who have never even seen Rich churches who are being targeted.
One of the concerns I have, Pastor Brown, one of the concerns I have is that you said you're a trained intelligence officer, right? So, and they are, I'm sure they are classified information, confidentiality clauses, NDAs in your employ as an intelligence officer working with the SSA that you've confirmed earlier on. And even if your cover is blown, which you say is the main reason why you're talking now, I would imagine there's a certain level of professionalism and ethical practice that should obtain, even if you feel your cover is blown in the interest of national security. How do you respond to people who will be saying, but you're not acting professionally, you are divulging information which could put national security at risk in one way or another?
I like a question, sir. I have pledged before my God that if the righteous are taken down and truth has fallen into the street, and the scripture says, because of that, what is going to happen to a nation? I have determined to uphold the scrupulous as well. Which means if they're taking on the righteous, I'm going to have to go to jail.
Stick up in there right there. I want I need y'all to make sure and internalize what we just said. Internalize what we just said. Let me come out of this. We heard enough there. Internalize what we just said. I want to let pray for me today. Let me put on my spectacles. So don't go anywhere. We're getting in deeper now. You all ready for it?
Nearly a month after the unexpected removal of the head of the Strategic Services Agency and other members amid national security threats and claims by former employee and alleged spy Ian Brown, who was issued state firearms and other gear, National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hinds maintains his distance from the recruitment of officials to the agency.
But I can't know, I could not have known who the SSA was hiring, whether it was members of one church or next, whether it was members of one family or next. I could not have known that. As a matter of fact, had I known that, and had I known that, I may have stopped it.
During a media briefing on Tuesday, Hinds took aim at former top cop Gary Griffith. Just last week, Griffith knocked Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for seemingly failing to understand the law on the issuance of firearms to members of the SSA. Dr. Rowley said there was mounting concern over employees at the agency having access to high-powered rifles. Griffith said the authority to grant rifles was not up to the government, a position Hinds challenged based on the Constitution.
We have now been told, and this is what is surprising the Prime Minister and like me and those who know, that officers of the SSA were allowed long before November the 1st to keep and carry weapons. Hence the reason for the Prime Minister's expression of surprise.
Hinds said information suggested prior to the adjustment to the Firearms Act it was Griffith who authorized the SSA to access weapons.
We are now aware that it was he who made those 4 military-type weapons available to the SSA before the 1st of November 2023, a matter which I am aware is in itself under investigation.
All right, so we're going somewhere, right? We're going somewhere, and this is why I keep telling you all, with an ear to hear and eye to understand. I'm rounding up some things.
The government acted on information from the police. I say no more.
And while he stayed true to that, not telling the media exactly what the police are investigating with respect to the Strategic Services Agency, he did provide additional info, albeit without specifics on what led to the surprise decision to remove the head of the SSA.
It was all part of the response of the government to the information obtained by the police. Circumstances required that the government act to ensure that the national security is not jeopardized.
Dr. Rowley said the issue has to do with personnel, equipment and the processes of the SSA, and not necessarily the interception of information.
It is centered around personnel. The director is responsible for the agency, and therefore he is held responsible. But it's a broader situation.
The Prime Minister said the public needs to trust that the government has seen certain information that required this response.
So, let me take 2 calls. 342-008-14665-391. Those are the numbers to contact us and get in your 2 cents. Some more things here to bring to light that y'all are going to be. Call a good afternoon.
Hey Dale, how you going?
Hi there, Cole.
You don't realize this whole SSA thing is just to get back to Gary Griffith. That thing done gone, that done demolished. They gone under the bridge, but they bring back this whole thing just to target Gary Griffith. But you know what? He referred to that as a cult. But he won't talk about the cult he go on and do Obi and Mr. Manning. He should talk about that cult. and talk about something that making sense. That's my contribution. I done gone already. Thanks.
Call a good afternoon.
I hope the Ferrari swim. Then I tried to find out what is it these gentlemen who are hired, what they have done so far, and what was admission was for the kill Trinidadian. I really want to know, and I asked Mr. Gary to allow the government to release the information they receive in the investigation, so we will have an idea what it is who hired those people for and why those ammunition was purchased. Thank you, Steve.
Caller, good afternoon, welcome. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Afternoon.
You know, the more I listen to these type of videos, Dale, I just realize that the government is being in possession of some information that the police ought to have and be doing thorough investigation, not led and spearheaded by the government. The government ought to pass over whatever information them after the police, just like there is the asking persons in the nation to do. But more than that, Dale, you know, if you was the person who made the firearms available to these individuals before the allotted time, you wouldn't have the luxury of going all over the place and being all in our face today. But it appears that when you hold a certain position, you could do whatever you want, and the law will drag its feet when it comes to bringing you to justice. Because you cannot tell me all these allegations just keep flying left, right, center, and you hear the words that Fitzgerald used. They found out that the guy, Mr. Griffith, is the person who was responsible for arming these people before a certain time, right? Before it was legal to do so. And what's going on? What is going on? But that just pass through the airs and come out the next one. Because we choose to be political freaks for whatever party. They are locked on, buddy.
Caller, good afternoon, welcome.
Dale.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, darling. Yeah, we're going to you call it to your program. Kiana, you see what's going on? That, I know what's going on because many people who have sense know what was happen. That was a dangerous thing was happen. So it opened the eyes to everybody. When they come in and talking such a nonsense anyway, they're trying to cover up. But we are stupid. Bye.
Fiery today, boy. Caller, good afternoon, welcome.
Hey, Dale. Yeah, good afternoon. Let me refresh your memory with something. Remember they find a bunch of ammunition in Cuba? Remember that? Put the pieces together. Right? And listen to this. America did a survey a couple months ago. It was in the newspapers. They say there's a lot of extrajudicial killing happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and they will stop funding. Right? And then after, when you watch on the crime scene, you're seeing a lot of police ballistics around. 15,000 ammunition coming from this country, and it's not accounted for. So the Prime Minister and his government was watching what was happening. And you know, Dale, when he announced that killing is a public health issue, and he gets other countries to come into the Trinidad and hold a symposium, and America gets involved, where the Secretary of State, Bilkins, they was watching what was going on. All right, Dale?
All right.
Put the pieces together. Okay, brother.
Put the pieces together. All right, let's put the pieces together. Caller, good afternoon, welcome. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Daily Voice.
Afternoon.
And good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Bill, that investigation that the Honorable Prime Minister, let me give him his belt, the Honorable Prime Minister, biasly, read out in Parliament, I have no confidence in that. When Dr. Rowley, when you expose Dr. Rowley and he want to kill you politically, he go in the Parliament. He go in the Parliament and use Parliament privilege to say all kind of thing about people. If the past commissioner of police did something so illegal, how it is none of them cannot put a handcuff on him, and the police and police service can't put a handcuff on him? How Gary Griffith did something so wrong and illegal? Hello, you saying something to me there, Dale?
No, I didn't say anything.
Yeah. I watching you on YouTube one time. Why you talking? I seen your mouth moving too, and going to load on the TV.
Oh, no.
When he want to kill you politically, he do those things. Remember Emailgate? And it become a lie. And it have many other things that Dr. Rowley go in Parliament when he trying to damage somebody's career. But if Gary Griffith was the commissioner of police, and the laws he control could give out these guns on them to the SSA, Gary Griffith didn't do nothing illegal. And I used to be listening this same hours program on the Juju Love show. I hearing Dr. Rowley saying 100 and something ammunition. I used to be hearing 7 million and millions of ammunition they used to be speaking about. And how it is them get that information before Dr. Rowley? How? How them did know was bad figures that was given. But how them did know them investigation before Dr. Rowley revealed them information now? You know why? Because they use Parliament privilege to bring down people. And Dr. Rowley will pay a political price for that. Because you can't use the Constitution and Parliament to go and bring down somebody when he was acting among the law. He was working with the law and the power he had. If Gary Griffith give these SSA people and them gun on them, he was within the rights. And he was working towards the Constitution. He didn't do nothing wrong. How come no police go and lock him up yet? Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Prime Minister is lying to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to forgive him for that. Thank you for being fair.
Let me see here. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Good afternoon.
Dale, I know for a fact that Kunji is right. He's talking about the emails, right? In email game. Then the transcript of the email from the whistleblower pointed to certain activities that was really truth and a serious one as the spying on the DPP. Sometimes I ask myself, Dale, I ask myself this question. What if the whistleblower was Dana Sitahab? Who would have, because as a senior counselor, she know exactly how the law is in Trinidad and everything and how things is. So you do a transcript of what you know and what you see, just as you see it in the emails that you had access to, and you do a transcript of it and you give it to somebody who will do something about it. What if that was the fact? But to say that the emails was fake, and because the emails was fake, the information and that was led the police and to unearth certain things from the emails. I think somebody tried to make a cover up on that. And if I have to go back to Dr. Rowley and having a audit report and have good people with class and dignity, somebody you could trust to do an audit report based on what was happening. Now you're seeing a sudden jump in licenses given out to people, whether it was to import guns and ammunition or for people to buy guns because they get a FUL license. And you want to ask yourself what it is going on. When there's information coming from some of the FDOs, the First Division officers, that they did not approve certain gun licenses, but the person get the gun. You see, So all these things trigger up an investigation. For you to come on national radio and use a known liar to say that the Prime Minister lying based on an audit report, not by him. There's people who was versed in the field and qualified to do this thing, former judges and people who are, you know, people with dignity, people you can trust, people who's level-headed, people who's qualified to do these things. To come and tell us, look, this is an audit report I did, I find I passed it on to you, and the government has to do something about it.
All right. Leave it there for me. Leave it there for me.
Don't want another 1990 again, you know, because people knew what was going to happen in 1990. They say, wake me up when it's all over. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So the Prime Minister never had all this information. How come nobody in lock up or charge or anything yet? All the information that they had on all that. Eh? Correct, Kunji. And the man tell them, come out and hold a press conference and say what they had to say. Don't hide behind Parliament privilege and say it. He gave them the permission to come out and do an interview with any of the reporters out there to say what it is he say. Over the.
Good afternoon to you, Dale. Isn't the correct term parliamentary privilege? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's parliamentary privileges.
Actually feels he has such authority to state that cabinet never gave approval for the SSA to have firearms. Keith Rowley, you dunce. The cabinet and politicians cannot have any such approval. You are politicians. Politicians have no authority under the Firearms Act, under the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, in the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, that you as a bloody politician, you have no authority to state that this arm of the state now has authority to carry firearms. It shows that this man is so lazy. That's when you play golf 4 days a week until midday. You don't do your homework and do research. Cabinet cannot and has no authority to give permission for any arm of the state to carry firearms. Additionally, the SSA, for years, through the director, always had such authority. It is the SSA, it's like saying customs had no authority to have firearms, or immigration had no authority to carry firearms. Of course, through the head of that unit, so the SSA director, he would have that authority and he will be able to get it through something known as a Firearm Users Employee Certificate, an FUEC that is given to members in the SSA, approved and signed by the Commissioner of Police, similar to what security guards will get in security companies. But it shows that Keith Rowley he doesn't do his homework, and he is as stupid as they come to believe that politicians through cabinet can provide the authority and approval for an arm of the state to carry firearms.
Caller, good afternoon.
Yeah, Dr. Rowley is not a prime minister. He's the 1% slave to beat me on me back. He had the whip to beat me on me back. That's what Masanas do. Masanas put one away to beat me on me back to take all the tax money for the 1%. The 1% had to go to the 1%, brother. Educate yourself, Dr. Rowley. Just a slave to beat me on me back on the plantation. Yeah, thanks. Bless you.
Confused. Anybody want to? That's not,
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Let me keep this close here today. Caller, good afternoon. Thanks for holding.
Dale.
Yes.
I'm so glad you did that. Thank you for doing that. Dale, really realize what is taking place here? A set of jokers calling and embarrassing themselves. I wanted to hear yourself on the radio station. Dale, could you tell me who was the person who didn't want this report to laid in Parliament? Can't you help me? Is it a reason that they didn't want it to lay in Parliament? Dale, am I right or wrong? Dale?
I don't know nothing.
Dale.
I dumb and dotish when it comes to this right now. I dumb and
Dale, listen to me. You think SSA is a corrupted organization? Yes? Gary speaking about Dr. Rowley, this and Dr. Gary Griffith, You so smarter than Dr. Rowley. What's the reason that you never wanted these reports to lay in Parliament? If you know your record clean, you're supposed to let it lay in Parliament and make sure that we're Gary clean. They'll like what you say. What you dumb, you say?
Dumb and dotish.
Yeah, I set a bunch of jokers. And listen to me, I set a done. See, they do calling and talking not a rubbish, you know. You see the joker telling you about, put some sense to the head, Nadale. I'm begging you because I know you're not a stupid person, you're a very educated person, right? You understand? Dale, let me tell you something. You see the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and my member of Parliament to represent we the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Rowley would not go into Parliament and tell nobody no lies. You know exactly. And let me tell you something that let me come off. It now started up. It's more to come out. Here I'm telling you, watch, mark my word today. Today is the 4th. Remember, this is my words I'm telling you. That more to come out.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dale. Hello. Now, what? Hello again, our feedback here. Now, Dr. Rowley is doing the right thing there. Bring it to the Parliament for the public of Trinidad and Tobago. Say here what is going on. Because Dale, it's twice they stop it, you know. Twice Gary Griffith stopped this report from being read in Parliament and concerning the email gate. Up to now, we have people who still didn't put in their computer and their devices to the police to examine. And all these people who calling and saying that, oh, Dr. Rowley, this and that and the other. Dr. Rowley, stay focused and give me the truth. Thank you very much, Dale. I love the truth.
Thank you. Let me see here. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, good day. You know, I listen to the radio station. I just want to say who I am. For the youngster that coming up after you. This is a black man. You know, I listen to these PNM callers. I am a strong PNM and it hurts in my heart. I want to say the UNC caller, letting up all of it. That's why I have to call the radio station because I understand what's going on the radio station. They're looking up all of it, more wiser and smarter. All of the PNM talking the same talk. Right? I study to get knowledge on a station and on a further going. And let me show how all it was bright and smart. Last week, Konji called and said, why don't you go back to Grenada and say something? And all of us sit back and take that all the comment of answer him. Dr. Rowley said, the Grenadian could bring up their family, could bring up children and things like that, and they will support that. All the UNC, they were bringing them here for. On other stations that I am, they're talking that all the bringing children here for. But all of the parents here, and then they were going on outside. And that's why the UNC is raising all this on this radio station. The email gate, you know, you see, if you have a PNM program on the radio station, I know what I say there. So I know if you want to take that to here, but I'm talking. If you have a PNM program on the radio station, like Princess Julia Daisy and Aisha West, right? They would have answered that. Because in St. George College in Barrett, when Dr. Rowley speaks, you know, I monitor the radio station and for 6 months, no one listen to him. Because Dr. Rowley exposed them, give them the evidence, the deputy, say yes, and so on, believe certain things in it. You could get that program. But because this PNM people on this radio station, they're doing their homework, and they continue getting beat up and beat up and beat up by COP, we call it like country. You understand? They don't know how to answer it. You understand? But if I was still on the radio station, who you continue, please, this is that man.
All right.
Hello, good afternoon to you, Dan.
Good afternoon.
Well, I love this program so nice. That, you know, I so experienced that I could play that material in the end. And surely, I know Wadehead is better known as the Watchman. And Watchman has asked Gary Griffith several questions, not only what Dr. Rowley speaks about, and up to now we haven't answered him. Then, am I to understand that Watchman is also an attorney of law and also was in the race to be commissioner of police? Why? Gary Griffith said that people fell off a chair. Watchman is asking him if it was a helicopter, how the could fall off a chair guy? No answer at all then. And secondly, I want to know if I am so innocent of any fraud, why it is I was fined an injunction of will, so nobody would know my bank account because I was a public figure. And last of all, then, I want to remind the Canadians, remember that Kamala Winchester and the UNCCP was going to file an injunction against if they did get the refinery. All of that is on record. You could go and watch it. And those who believe that they could fool us, them and them, we're not so stupid. We have kids, and we know every one of them. I challenge them. Kunti, I want to know, I just asked a question. Why did you have my son under the PP government walking up and down Chagama saying no, that Kamala gives so many people jobs? Was my son refused or didn't or wasn't given because of who he looked like? I want to know, Kunti. I want you to challenge me, because I was a cop host in this radio station, and I know all the false things you say. None of all you could challenge me right back. I'm repeating it, not one, including Gary Griffith who can't answer where they Watchman. Thank you very much.
No problem. No problem. Hold the line to me, callers. Just 1 second. Memory lane?
Politician could be so bold-faced to come and ask me for an update on an investigation. And I would have told him where to get off. That is one. Two, I would love to do a polygraph test myself and Keith Rory to show that he's a blatant liar. Show where it is that I would have ever told you that persons died because they fell off a chair. That is a blatant lie. Three, he is trying to allude, and no, this is a matter that took place 4 or 5 years ago, and he keeps holding on to that one point. But let's go back to what this is about. These are two men who were involved in the killing of Andrea Barrett. They will never be able to kill again. They will never hurt another female again. And these were two men that were involved in over 60 other charges for rape, sexual offenses for women. And that is what Keith Rowley continues to speak about. So because these two persons died at the hands of the police, he keeps trying to put me to as if I am to blame for that situation. When, by the way, over 50 police killings have taken place every single year in the 3 years since I have left. And he has nothing to say about it. It shows how petty he is, it shows how immature he is, and it shows how intimidated he is of Gary Griffith.
Wow. Caller, good afternoon, welcome.
The first clip with Gary Griffith, Gary said, Dr. Rowley has done and all this other thing everything, you know. But a few moments later, Gary Griffith begging, assist, help with the Prime Minister and sit down and help the Prime Minister. So you want to help him? These people call him dunce and know nothing about it. Gary Griffith fails to realize that he was just a normal COP, just like other COPs before him. And the people that makes policies is the cabinet. And when the cabinet has policies, they put it there for the COP, because head of customs, the head of this, whatever, to carry out. And one, the head of the cabinet, which is the Prime Minister, is the head of the National Security Council, in which the COP is a member fall under that, together with the Defense Force staff and other people. So if the head of the National Security Council asks for an update on any matter of investigation or whatever it is, do you think that he's supposed to get that in a meeting? Why calling you to ask you nothing? Gary Griffith was on record as saying no Prime Minister cannot summon him and all kind of nonsense. Gary is a loose cannon. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, there are several matters around that clipping that this national community ought to take note of. You would have heard in that, he says this is some old matter happened a long time ago, 5 years ago. Talking about ignorance, murder is never statute bad. The matters of which he just spoke are under active police investigation, but he portrays it in a public expression as though that is as far back as 5 years ago. And it is the only little thing that keep Rowley holding against him. Only little thing. This is a serious matter still under police investigation. This ain't no little thing. This is a very, very serious matter. A very serious matter. And, of course, as I said, under continued investigation. When that matter transpired, around February of 2021, the United States government, one of our major trading and friendly regional partners, so to speak, made contact with the government of Trinidad and Tobago through the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and told him certain things. The upshot of that, following on the beating to death in police custody, you would have heard Mr. Griffith say a while ago that they can't kill nobody again. You hear how flippant from a former commissioner of police? See why we said mistake? It is as if, for that reason, slam dunk, it's finished. It's not a bad thing. Well, I want you to listen carefully to the intervention now of the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, who will tell us of the implications of that for Trinidad and Tobago. Honorable.
Thank you very much, colleague, Minister of National Security. Yes, I am pleased to join my colleague, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon to place some additional facts on the public record in treating with matters of clear and present concern to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, with implications for our international relations and diplomacy. And just listening very closely to what has already been revealed by the Minister of National Security, I certainly cannot recall in the history of this country any former commissioner of police conducting himself in the manner as described, committing utterances toward a sitting prime minister in the manner that has been described and which every citizen is now familiar with. And the phrase that just keeps echoing in my mind is unsuitability, unsuitable for public office in any way, shape, or form. And just with regard to the implications, I want to begin by referencing another newspaper article. This is from the Newsday of Wednesday, 3rd February 2021. And the headline was, Commissioner of Police, suspect who died in police custody fell from chair. COP, Commissioner of Police, suspect who died in police custody fell from chair. And this was the then head of the police service, Police Commissioner Gary Griffith, placing on the public record his views of what transpired. And I will quote from the article. Police Commissioner Gary Griffith denied reports that a man who died while in police custody was beaten to death by officers. This is an article by Shane Superville. I go on. Police sources said the man was beaten severely by officers while in custody and believed he may have died from injuries. The man was a suspect in the disappearance of 22-year-old Andrea Barrett. The article goes on to state, speaking with Newsday on Wednesday, Griffith said the man was arrested but denied they beat the suspect. This is on public record, the Commissioner of Police of Trinidad and Tobago. And he's quoted here, the man was in custody and he was offered something to eat by the police, but he refused. The quote goes on. He was placed in a chair when he fell. The officers acted swiftly and took him to the hospital where he died. What I've said here is in quotation marks, referenced to the commissioner, the then Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. He was placed in a chair when he fell, and then the officers acted swiftly. Not too long after that, on March 24th, 2021, just weeks after those astounding and shocking public utterances by the Commissioner of Police, I received a visit at my office at the headquarters of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs from the United States Embassy.
So let me pause there for a little bit. Because I know this is a lot for us to take in. And I'm heading back to the lines. 342-0081 466-5391.
Good afternoon, Big Tobago Sunshine in the house here. According to Annan Roberts, what? Dale.
With this thing here, boy. Caller, good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, Dale.
Good afternoon.
Dale, did I hear the Prime Minister had said he had offered the former Commissioner of Police assistance, financial and physical and intelligence from abroad? But he did not want anybody to come and assist him. It's on tape, so it can be played. I'm not like the other one who was calling and making false statements yet. So to say that when the gentleman get up in Parliament and say all of these things were done under your watch, the government was closely monitoring the security of the country, and they are seeking to help the commissioner if he was not doing what he had to do. I am surprised that Mr. Griffith could behave in that manner and calling out the Prime Minister with those obscene language, and he wants to be Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago because I think he has a political party. So that's his future aim. And if he could treat the Prime Minister like that, could you imagine how he will treat us and talk to us and say about us? Have a good evening. Dale, I think we need to bring a blueberry smoothie for you. You must be tired with all that nonsense you're hearing. Have a good evening.
Caller, good afternoon, welcome.
Dale, do you know what he just did? Because guy was saying to lie on him and another person lie, another lie, this one, that one lie, this one lie. You just show paper trail. So who are they lying? So who is COP? What our division stand for? And you're saying you never tell somebody they demand for and die. So on our official report, COP, the man fall under the and die after refusing to leave. So if you wish to make shut it, they make up this. Paper trail is over and over in the corner line. You say you know the pastor, but you are seen on his Zoom talking with the pastor. And you say, you know the man. Guy, if somebody, what world is in? He bipolar, he delusional. I try to understand it. Because when I listen, guy, you would believe now these things never happen. I think people just make up this thing against him because they like him, you know. Guys, he paid himself. But when you look at paper trail and hard evidence, you're seeing that this man delusional because it's facts you're saying, and then you come on an interview and say some people like him. But you're seeing fact, paper trail, video, you say every man but you man. You say the line on here, but our official report, COP, Commissioner of Police. After if you didn't someone the man fall of this year and die, your official report, and you say you know tell about it. Let me explain before after the wrong thing. Go on.
Don't say the wrong thing. I'm pretty sure that this show today is heavily monitored. Don't say the wrong thing. I urge you, please.
Also, the Prime Minister come out, he said there's a threat to national security and SSA wanted to overthrow the government and stuff. Now, that's something very important. The Commissioner of Police, Fitzgerald Hines, and the Prime Minister should have been holding a press conference together to enlighten the country. But he is Parliament. And what is Parliament privileges? You cannot sue a minister when they go in Parliament and read reports and stuff. That is what is Parliament privileges about. Now, I now see you play that clip about Gary Griffith and this man, I think it's 21 plus rape charges he has. The people that be calling for death penalty, they calling for no bail, but now they're fighting now because the man dead. But we sort of glad he dead, but let he go away.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, deal. You know, let's just keep this simple, right? You appear to be a very straightforward fella. You understand a discussion that is going on between two men. And I am not satisfied with what is coming from the leadership. Gary Griffith is answering back. Those who want to say that Gary Griffith tried to muzzle anybody, this morning Gary Griffith explained that someone was ordered to do an investigation of the organization that he was heading. If you're going to do an investigation of an organization and he's the head, you're supposed to talk to the man who is the head. You run your investigation, you do all of your covert operation, but part of what you find out, you have to go to the head now and get them to be accountable. And he's saying that the reason why he put some gag order in place, it is because the investigation appears to have political aspirations with it. So when the people now want to seem as though Gary Griffith is not really represented on the issue, he is answering back in every single way. And as two men, somebody is coming up short. Because if you're bringing points, and then the man you're bringing the points on is answering your back, then you have to now come with a suitable answer based upon the answer that he gave you. And we're not getting that. Let me give you another point here.
No, before you continue, caller.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to me.
I'm trying to, I really try not to put too much input into this because I want to hear what the people are saying outside and what they have gathered from the facts that they have seen. But I want to ask you because I'm kind of confused, and I don't know if everybody else may be confused by the statement that you would have made just a little earlier, where you said that if it is an investigation is happening, and you're investigating so let's just say that I am going to investigate an organization that you are the head of, that I should come to you first before I start.
No, I didn't say that.
Just help me to clarify, because that is what it come across like to me.
No, I said after you do your secretive investigation and you have found out a lot of things that you consider to be atrocious, you also must now go to the person who is the head of the organization and you confront them with all of these allegations that you have.
Right.
That is what I said.
Right. So let's move from there now. So based on finding out information which is still deemed as allegations, and me understanding the protocol of investigation, and it is not supposed to be the norm, right, of the police service or a Ministry of National Security body, that if it is I get allegations, the reason to investigate an allegation is to find out if it is truthful or not. And if I have information or an allegation against you, and I come to you after hearing an allegation to ask you if it is true, you're not going to tell me whether or not it is true or not. You will always deny the claim, especially if it is that it is wrongdoing. Now here we are going with it. And this is the reason why when an investigation is had and allegations are put forward, then a further investigation now, which is a fact-finding mission. And I think we, the members of the public, we just get tied up. We may have allegation or information that still is not a fact, but it is an alleged statement. And now we need to find out what is going on. And then based on getting the information, more information will come, and information will bring information, which will then probably blow out this case. And even with this same SSA thing, this SSA thing start off with a tip that men from a church was being hired. And then from the men from the church being hired, it went in that when the investigation started based on an allegation, it opened doors and windows and cracks and crevices all over the place. That is what happened. So we have to be careful in what it is we saying when it comes to allegations and investigations. Fact and an allegation. I think I'll lose this caller here. Caller, good afternoon. My countdown is on, so make your contribution quickly.
I just want to correct that last caller. Gary Griffith was never under no investigation. I don't know where people getting this thing from, that Gary was under investigation. Gary wasn't under no investigation. Is the oh God, how you call it again? The permission to get guns. That is what was under investigation, not Gary. It's Gary who jumped out and make it look like if he was under investigation. But the FUS was under in investigation by the former chief what you call by Mr. John. Gary Griffith was never under no investigation. I don't know what people tying up this thing so far. The investigation was to find out about the FULs.
Right. And who issued the FULs, which would be under the, at that point in time, the commissioner's office. And I wonder who, well, I mean, again, a headache. I think I need to go. Seeing a lot of blue flies around here. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome. My countdown is on, so make it quick. Go ahead, caller. The countdown is on, so go ahead. Yes, mommy.
Dale. Oh, Dale.
Yes, mommy.
I don't know what Gary was under now. The last caller where he said Gary has never investigation.
Mommy, behave
Yeah,
yourself.
you
Mommy, behave yourself. Don't say
yeah,
what
you stop it, Gary.
Bite your tongue, mommy. Bite your tongue. I am a... Right, bite your tongue. Right. Only have a nice day. I am my child to go and make sure I make a little thing when the day come. But I would not hide from bringing things to the forefront. But this is where my time is over. So up next... The D&D show is up next. Y'all don't go anywhere. Keep it locked to the street 919 FM. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM. As we transition into summer, we continue to talk politics, current events, entertainment, and what's trending while balancing the talk with some of your